Bum 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 bum
Drama.
bum.
Action. Comedy. Palace intrigue. Story Squad presents Clash of the Pencils. All right, welcome everybody to a frigid Pluto Day night here in Milford, Delaware. Happy New Year's Eve to everyone indeed. And welcome back to another round of Clash of the Pencils nightly live stream, the most watched creative writing esport league live stream in the history of the internet. Who's going to start off the week strong this week? Is Slice back? Is Raconteuse back? Who's going to take home the title tonight? And only 4 days this week as well. We are off on Friday for holiday break. And so a condensed week, that means every story matters that much more. So answers to all that, what that means, how that's going to turn out, and more can be found only on this live stream. So we're here as we are every weeknight to review the top 3 short stories submitted from around the net, get the latest scores, see who's atop the leaderboard, and of course, read through the top 5 sentences of the night. So a quick reminder to all the folks out there, how to play Clash of the Pencils. It's pretty simple. Each night at the end of our live stream, we will reveal the next day's prompt. Then all you have to do is grab a piece of pen or a piece of paper and a pen and handwrite a quick 1-page story in response. After that, you just snap a pic and upload it, and then boom, you are in the game. It is that easy. From there, we field anywhere between 0s and 10s of submissions every day, which then get run through a high-tech data science algorithm known as Storybot 3000, who uses, among other things, cathedral blueprints to analyze every story for character, plot, and setting. We then take Storybot's top 3 picks and let you, the public, determine tonight's winner. Who will win, of course, besides fame and glory? One of these, an IOU NFT. This is a unique 1 out of 10,000 NFT that's actually an IOU for a future NFT from an upcoming drop from Story Squad. So what exactly does that mean? Well, that's a great question. The cash value of an IOU NFT is $100 US, but that's not quite the full value of NFTs that a holder of NFTs could extract from it. So here's a little video to help maybe explain a bit more of the value. Think of NFTs like keys to the future. Right now, as humans, we interact with businesses and organizations much like ants might their queen, slaving away day in and day out for resources to give to the queen so that she may survive. NFTs turn this one-directional relationship into a community partnership. Owning NFTs of organizations will allow those owners special perks like early access to future products, exclusive content behind paywalls, and access to the inner community. Not only that, but NFTs are transferable, allowing owners to sell at a premium, which in turn appreciate all other NFTs held by community members. So NFTs are part art, part online identity, part admission to a virtual country club, part crypto speculation, part generational wealth, and all real, baby. And that is a fact. It is all real, no matter what you may or may not think. So yeah, you want one of those? Trust me, get one. Get it while the getting is good, and get it while the getting's easy. I mean, the drop is coming a lot sooner than you may or may not believe, depending on how much you do or don't believe that these IOU NFTs will or will not actually render real NFTs. Trust me, they will, and it's coming quicker than a freight train. Let me tell you what's coming quicker than an NFT drop from Story Squad. That is my co-host tonight, alongside me to help break down Storybot's top 3 picks. He is a certified master by the Breadloaf School of English. Legend has it, he only stops reading for 30 minutes a day. So let me welcome to the screen, Greg, the Reader Peterson. Thanks for taking a break from that book. Happy New Year Eve.
I first met the late German bad boy artist extraordinaire Martin Kipperberger at the opening of a show of his Madrid in the early 80s. Hey, Tom.
Is that is that always the reading voice that you take their monologue, or
It
is that
felt very Teutonic, right? It felt very German. I feel like they don't have a lot of
no,
vibrato.
very monotone? Yeah,
Very, very direct.
interesting. And I see why you had that direct sort of tone, and that's because today's writing prompt: our spacecraft just touched down on Planet Pizzalopolis. It's pretty straightforward.
If there's anyone that can get to Planet Pizzalopolis, it's that German engineering.
That's a fact. They can work on that and get us there. If you were an author tonight, where do you think you would go with this once the pencil starts hitting the paper?
I'm really interested in the tension between low gravity situations and the bounciness that we think of with moons and moonwalking, and the stickiness of a cheese surface.
Right. Yeah, you'd think it would be very
Right.
tough to
Right.
take off. Maybe land, maybe absorb the land, but to take off.
Yeah. Is it
gonna be
just
tough.
constantly doing this? Like,
and we'll have to see if where that goes. As always, on the first day of the Gregorian calendar week, there is nobody on the leaderboard, so not much to talk about there. Let's just get into it. Let's start seeing these top 3 picks from Storybot. First one coming from Ehud. Entering atmosphere. Landing sequence initiated. Dr. Trebenucci, friends called her Dr. Ucci, started breathing slowly and methodically, a tactic she used to focus herself during high-stress situations like precision landing a $1.2 billion spaceship with 8 lives, including her own, on board, or calculating how to get past the Salvation Army ringer and homeless person without making eye contact while holding change, a full bag of groceries, and a self-loathing conscience. The atmospheric clouds of steam plastered the ship with red oily grease droplets relentlessly, burning the roof of the ship. Maybe those idiots on Reddit were onto something, Dr. Ucci whispered under her breath. It had always bugged her that her landmark discovery and expedition to the 10th planet of the solar system went up for an internet vote, which ended with a resounding margin for Planet Pizzalopolis, following a fringe theory of U/unicorn fart that there was a giant planet whose geology resembled pizza, and the government was covering up its existence. The thought made her cringe. Error messages flared. The sudden instrument jerk made the lander clip a crust of puff, sending the crew into a tailspin into a lake of boiling hot pepperoni grease. U/unicorn fart FOIA'd the flight records. The official story was Dr. Ucci lost focus due to the public. The last line of the flight log read, "Maybe those idiots on Reddit," redacted. All right, an astronaut studies herself while landing a ship, the first expedition to her newly discovered 10th planet of the solar system, which was named by internet vote Planet Pizzalopolis after a fringe conspiracy theory from Reddit. Remembering the asinine public vote makes her cringe, which causes a catastrophe that the government then covers up, or at least redacts, after the Reddit user tries to FOIA it.
really shows that nothing good. If Planet Pizzalopolis was a committee naming, like a function of committees, really, you can't leave artistic work to a committee, Tom. It just doesn't work.
It's tough.
Really tough out there. There were some interesting tensions here. Dr. Ucci sort of rising to the top of her field and being entrusted and trained to pilot an $8.2 billion spacecraft is then compared to the kind of mindset it takes. The high anxiety situation of that level of focus is then equated or drawn in some sort of comparison to how you have to tunnel vision past the Salvation Army ringers.
Mm-hmm.
The incongruity of that's pretty extraordinary.
Just focus, I mean,
yeah, no.
it's...
Why not just put in a penny?
It's tough. I mean, yeah, it's tough out there. I don't know. I don't. It's
There's something also about the coordination of a technological mission of this scale, this far away, Planet Pizzalopolis, and then this sort of crowd swarming of Reddit. Right?
right.
And the ability of a swarm of people versus the precision of whatever bureaucratic space enterprise seemed to launch this. There's the groundswell, and then there's the one person who's landing this. It seemed to bring into mind that this is one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. The giant leap is sort of a technological function of the entire industry that allowed spaceflight to happen, and the kind of like christening of this as a successful venture. Whereas Reddit feels like it's just a bunch of steps of random strangers retweeting and uptweeting and swarming things. And I'm wondering about the collective intelligence of that versus what it takes to launch a space mission. These were the thoughts that came into my brain. I thought Dr. Uchi, it was what I'm trying to say here is that plot, there actually was some pretty visceral. The landing was tense and like the analogy worked, but it was just a landing. The world was very, very big. This was something with internet conspiracies. This was there was a lot going on in the world. Dr. Uchi as a character, I feel like she had a bit of a wry sense of humor, but I didn't totally know her. And I'd say the character was a little bit of the three that was the farthest out. What about you?
Yeah, I think that makes sense because the plot, I mean, it was driven along the landing sequence, and then there was that sort of twist at the end with the FOIA request, and it got redacted to kind of make it seem like the Reddit was the cause, when really that's not what, like the conspiracy is real at the end, which is kind of interesting. The characters were definitely the furthest out. I mean, because that setting, it did have the what it mentioned, the steam, the red oil steam,
the red hot
coming up.
pepperoni grease, the atmosphere, grease droplets pelting the ship. Yeah, there was some great concrete imagery that really grounded us into that scene.
There, and it really made you think that this is a pizza planet out there. The conspiracy, like I said, the conspiracy is real. As far as I can tell, we're reading this story. There's a 10th planet out there called Pizzalopolis, after a Reddit, groundswell on the voting. Anyways, that's interesting. Interesting start here. A pretty solid triangle. Not the most condensed, but at the same time, got a couple there close to the inner marks. So let's see if Racontus can top this. Isosceles 9. Houston, can you hear me? Houston, can you hear me? Houston.
Roger, Isosceles 9. We can hear you. Thought we lost you for a minute.
We had so much interference on the descent. It's like clouds of Parmesan?
Parmesan?
Life forms detected. Have a visual. Going out for a closer look.
Copy that.
Isosceles walkabout.
We connected.
Tell me what you see.
Human forms, moving quickly, like they have to get somewhere in 30 minutes or less.
Copy. Attempt contact.
Negative. All moving too quickly and carrying pizza. No one will stop.
Roger. Describe the atmosphere.
Salty, but dusty. We were right. It is Parmesan.
Roger. Eyes on source.
Seems atmospheric. We'll know more after samples. Returning to ship.
Houston, confirmed we have located the missing ingredient.
Hooray! Now our pizza will be tasty again. Great work, Isosceles 9. We'll alert the consortium. They'll want to begin trading right away. Our years of bland pizza crust are over.
And that is how the Earth East Pizza Trading Company was formed. All right, Isosceles 9 expedition lands on Planet Pizzalopolis, discovering Parmesan atmosphere, life forms of pizza deliverers too busy to care about these aliens who are now set to mine the planet for a secret flavor profile and undoubtedly start a new era of colonization via company, joint venture company.
This I love how this brought to mind, you always hear about the sci-fi films like, let's go mine the asteroids for their precious metals. Instead of that, we get a pizza company. It's like, let's go discover a planet to make our crust better at industrial scale. It's so great. It's so great. I love the release of information where we're very disoriented. We start with Isosceles 9, Houston, can you hear us? It's fraught. It's clear that this is straight out of show, don't tell. Start in the middle of the scene and force the reader to kind of infer, to contextualize what the stakes are. The stakes were risen right away, so that gave me the plot. It had like a tall tale, and kind of an old-timey format of like, but it's very futuristic, that this is how this started, but it's almost like it's being told from 200 years in the future. Right. And so that was a bit of a surreal, the form of it, and how future oriented it was pretty cool. I liked all the details. Obviously we get the racontus, the dialogue heavy world building. All the hallmarks of a well-crafted tale. It made me smile. In the end.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I enjoyed the characters just kind of being these, there was never really a singular person. Like, it was just the communications, the radio chatter. I thought it worked well. Because it helped build the setting along with the characters a bit. You know what I mean? Like, because the setting was strong. It was one of the stronger aspects. The characters are also kind of out here with the Dr. Uchi from last time, in and of themselves. One of the things, and then again, the plot is pretty good. One of my issues was actually so first off, like it starts out with this, like, the mystery of it all, but then by the end of it, I was wondering how did they not know there would be Parmesan? You know what I mean? If this was the East India Trading Company, how did they not know that there would be Parmesan? How did they not know that there would be life forms? You would think that they would, because like the British East India Company, I mean, they knew they were going to East India.
A scout ahead of this would have been helpful.
Right. Like, right. And if this was the scout, then the I don't know, discovery of these humanoid pizza deliverers seemed to be like, oh, whatever. Like, don't worry about that. Just tell me. But maybe, I don't know. Maybe it is good. And but then that final line from Houston where they were like, hey, we finally did it, and now pizzas won't be flavorless. I thought that was a little almost gratuitous, where I don't know if that would have been said in a mission. You know what I mean? Because everyone would have known the mission.
So you're saying you needed a real arc of dramatic realism and minimalism for this pizza?
I'm saying if I'm gonna be put on Planet Pizzalopolis and I'm inside this space mission, and then ground mission control's like, hooray, we did it, you found the pizza flavor, this is what we've been doing, I'd be like, I know that's what I'm doing. I'm in the middle of like that's what, I don't know. But again,
that's true. It was heavy-handed for the reader. I get it.
It's nitpicking. It was it was a great story. It was well built. It had all the good stuff, like you said, from Racontus, the imagery, the dialogue. It was there. But let's see if it was there, because there's one more. There's one more before we reveal the top. So let's go to slices real quick. Shh! If they hear us, they'll kill us and we'll never eat our pizza, Akash whispered to his sister Beth. The two stowed away on board the LWAAG SSS Friendly Yak for the past 700 billion and a trillion 300 million billion light years on its way to Pizzalopolis. The Friendly Yak led the way for cargo ships following in the rest of the convoy. The atomic arms on board were rarely deployed, but there is plenty of concern for space pirates in this sector of the Milky Way galaxy. The ship is faster than most. It travels 600 billion light years a minute, so a lot of times the pizza from Pizzalopolis is still hot when it reaches Earth. There's nothing like a pie from the parslowsphere of Pizzalopolis, though, and that's why Akash and Beth are hiding under the space coats in the space closet of the Yak. The ship docked on the Marinara Sea, powdered garlic storms pelting the sides of the ship, sounding like rain on a tent. The pair allowed the pilots and gun people to disembark before sneaking out. They carefully stepped through the geysers of molten mozzarella and sauce splattering and burning their skin, under pepperoni logs being swung into fantastic machinery by cranes, and wading through ranch, butter, and blue cheese patties. They stepped into a deep dish bog, and Beth lost her boots. They headed towards seemingly surer ground, but broke through the thin crust turf and fell far underground. They gave each other a loving glance they thought was their last, until they landed on a sea of anchovies. They were fished out with a net, given uniforms, and shackled to other kids working underground. They started making those plastic table things for the middle of pizzas. All right, so this is stowaways on a pizza delivery cargo ship that want to get a slice from the parslowsphere, the best, according to urban legend, traverse a dangerous pizza-themed planet with geysers, logs, and bogs before falling through the thin crust into an anchovy sea where they get scooped up and placed into child labor.
It's so silly. It's lovely. The thing that made me smile, just to make, finding an entry point into Slice's work is somehow as difficult as finding a landing spot into this planet. It's still, and that's a credit to something that resists formulation.
Right, that cheese, that spongy cheese.
Yeah,
Yeah.
still hot when it. I loved the fact that we get all of this excess about the billions and millions and billions of light years and the speeds and all this,
Right.
just to land the joke. So it's still hot when it reaches.
Right. Went a long way for that one.
But it was totally worth it.
Yep.
Totally worth it. It delighted me. All of this, the deep dish bog, the sea of anchovies. It was a really fun and clever mashup of world building on the solar system to something that we know very well on this pizza situation. The fact that these children were then captured, fished out, and turned to making the little plastic things in the middle of the pizza that holds the box together. It's like all the staples that we know so well of having like pizza delivered were then reimagined on a planet in something that was a lot of fun to think about. I thought the characters were pretty strong. I thought the plot, the setting, the stowaways, the world was huge. The world was huge. The fact that all of this got accomplished in one page is kind of a testament to Slice. I wonder if Slice was inspired by his name, his code name, and this kind of being his calling.
That's a fact. That's a good point. I mean, that's a really good point. Yeah, I echo everything you said. And then one of my favorite parts is the plot driver, right? For these kids being a stowaway on the ship is the urban legend that they have to get a slice from the parslowsphere, the best slice, in the planet or whatever. So then it makes, by the end of it, when you realize, then all of a sudden they get placed in child labor to make those little tiny plastic tables. It's kind of like, do you think that this company, because obviously there's some company that's delivering all these pizzas, they're mining the pepperoni logs with the heavy equipment and machinery, just strip mining the planet for all this pizza and stuff. Did this company make the urban legend so that kids would stow away on their
wow.
ship. You know what I mean? Like that's where I went
Like
after
moths to a flame. They're just like,
right.
hey, it's
Yeah.
like, it's almost
Like,
like,
hey, kid, you think
yeah.
this slice is good? Oh, you've never had pizza till you've had it from the Parslosphere of Pizzalopolis. Like kid, this is cold compared to when it comes out of the ground, you know? Like
Yeah. Because we really need a cheap supply of labor for those plastic things in the middle of those pizzas. It's the key. It's the key to the linchpin holding the whole operation together is conning enough children through this unbelievable mythology that we get them to stow away on these ships so that we can pluck them out of the anchovy sea and put them into our. That is something like you'd read on Reddit.
that is a fact. That is a fact. And yeah, here's something you won't read on Reddit. You want to know what that is?
What is that?
That is the winner of tonight's Clash of the Pencils, because it can only be found right here. We don't have a Reddit page, if that's even how it works.
We are not organized to do a Reddit conspiracy yet.
No,
These
no,
NFTs,
we're not.
We will
We're
report
not.
some conspiracy theories about pizza planets.
And here's what I want to know is who is stopping us from organizing Reddit conspiracies? You know what I mean? Like somebody's out there.
Certainly not the content moderators.
No, it's not. It's oh man. All right, so we're getting
Who won? Get this back on the rails.
Getting back on the rails. Storybot is telling me the leaderboards have been updated successfully. So let's go over here. Click this, hit refresh, and now all we can do is wait for the internet to let us know that Rockin' 165 points for Rockin' Slice coming in second with 140. Ehud in third with 115 and Joanna Man with 43. Strong start to the week there for everybody. Nobody's out of it. I mean, it is a 4-day week. It's a short week this week, but that just means that, you know, Wednesday is the new Thursday, basically. So
I don't know what that means, but I was like, yeah. Kind of like when you read those conspiracy theories, you're like, yeah. Like, I don't exactly know what's going on, but like, okay.
I believe it.
Wednesday's the new Thursday. He said it with authority. I'm going to nod my head. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's, so anyways, yeah, Wednesday's the new Thursday. Let's see what's on tap for tomorrow. Tomorrow's writing prompt. Today is the first day of winter. Tell a wintry tale about the shortest day / longest night of the year.
Oh, if you're not feeling this on a visceral level with the daylight being shrunken down into like 3 viable hours, I don't know what you're doing. You need to get off your computer and go outside for a walk in those 3 hours because it is darkness most of the time.
I thought it was just blue screen light 100% of the time. That's all there is. No, that's great. A little New Year's writing prompt for the first day of winter tomorrow. So where would you? Yeah, you already said where you'd go with it, so we can go through that. 2, the top 5 sentences of the night.
Bang.
Number 5 from Slice. They carefully step through geysers and molten mozzarella. Geysers of molten mozzarella and sauce splattering and burning their skin under pepperoni logs being swung in fantastic machinery by cranes and waded through ranch butter and blue cheese patties. Just
all to get those stowaway kids so they can make those plastic tables.
Just getting the kids.
A huge scale of operation. Avatar has nothing on this.
Nothing. Number 4 from Racontus. I-9. We had so much interference on the descent. It's like clouds of Parmesan? Houston. Parmesan. Good. That was a good hook. I mean, you know.
Good hook.
All of a sudden we're in Houston. They had a problem because of the Parmesan clouds on Pizzalopolis. Number 3 from Joanna Man. Signals started flashing and sounds began ringing as the saliva rainstorm plunged onto the surface, almost perfectly coinciding with the tooth asteroids clenching down.
Wow, I don't know what's happening there, but it seems like someone's biting into a piece, possibly a giant, into Pizzalopolis.
That is a fact. That's exactly what was happening. A very real, very visceral description of a mouth chewing pizza.
Let's pinch and zoom in there. Let's pinch and
Pinch.
zoom in.
Pinch and zoom in. We will. A lot of stuff happening there. But that was a great set. The tooth asteroids, I mean, it sounded like satisfying pizza. Number 2 from Ehud. Dr. Trebunucci, friends called her Dr. Uchi, started breathing slowly and methodically, a tactic she used to focus herself during high-stress situations, like precision landing a $1.2 billion spaceship with 8 lives, including her own, or calculating how to get past the Salvation Army ringer and homeless person without making eye contact while holding change, a bag of groceries, and a self-loathing conscience.
That is a cry for help, Dr. Tribunucci.
Just like Greg said, just put $1 in the bucket.
Just
give $1 to the homeless guy. Just
put in a button. Put in something with no money.
Oh man, number 1 from Slice. There's nothing like a pie in the parcelosphere of Pizzalopolis, though. That's why Akash and Beth are hiding under space coats in the space closet of the Yak. And that is the conspiracy theory.
That was such a great that Slice accomplished a lot in the world building today.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot of setting in there, that's for sure.
Pie in the parcelosphere of Pizzalopolis. That just flows off the tongue. It melts in your mouth, Slice.
I am hungry. I am hungry for pizza. That is a fact after these stories. Great stuff. And that wraps up another round of the Clash of the Pencils nightly live stream. So we'll see you back tomorrow night, same time, same place for another battle. And until then, we'll see you folks out on the paper. Do you want to participate in the Clash of the Pencils and Story Squad universe? It's easy. Join us on Twitter or in our Discord server at Story Squad HQ. There's lots of ways to participate. Draw some fan art. Play our addictive game of jokes and master strokes, Word Hoax. Or join Greg's monthly book club. And as always, remember to pay your cat tax. Money, fame, and love can all be found here at Story Squad.